In this video, we're going to continue working with BranchCache and configure it on a client. Now, in this particular scenario, we actually have a server instead of a client operating system, but it will still work. It will just look slightly different. It will appear slightly differently, even though these steps are the same. So here I am. I'm on server DM1, and we've already enabled a BranchCache. If I go to a prompt, I have BranchCache configured on my accounting share. So what I want to do first is to copy some files into the accounting share. So from a PowerShell prompt, I'm going to say copy C:\windows /star.exe to C:\accounting docs, the file share that we had set up previously. I'm going to press enter, and it copied just that quickly. It doesn't really matter what we copy in there as long as it's enough for it to trigger caching on the remote destination. At this point, we're going to go into server DM2, and I have gone ahead and logged in, and I've logged in, as we can see here, as the domain administrator. I'm going to go ahead and press 15, type in 15 to exit command line, and go to PowerShell. There we go. Now I can see AZ800 administrator. In this case, we need to install our Windows feature, install-Windows feature BranchCache. Now, again, we're doing this on a server as opposed to a desktop operating system. There is a Windows feature named BranchCache for desktop operating systems as well. We'll let this run for a moment and be right back. Now that the BranchCache feature is installed on here, we want to confirm that the services are working properly. So we're going to run get-service to get the status of a service. Specifically, we're looking for peer dist SVC, so peer distribution service. We can see here the display name is in fact BranchCache, even though the computer name is peer dist service, and we see the status is currently stopped. We could reboot to fix this, or we can simply type start-service peer dist service. Once that's started, I'm just going to press up arrow a couple of times and rerun get service, and I can now see that it is in fact running. Awesome. Now that we know everything is running, we want to enable -BC distributed. So enable the BranchCache distributed configuration. Finally, let's go ahead and get our BC status. So we want to see what our BranchCache status currently is, and we can see there is a lot of information in here. It is enabled, true. It is running, and its startup type is automatic. So on reboot, it will restart. We are in a distributed cache mode, which was what we had defined for. Host cache operations, network configurations. Here we can see the host cache. The current active cache is 0. The data cache currently is 0. Yep. And otherwise, we can see like the maximum cache size in bytes, and current size on disk is that. We will be looking at these current numbers as we move forward. One remaining configuration we want to do in here is to set -BC min SMB latency. And we want to set that to 0. By default, BranchCache will only cache or keep a copy of files if they are slow to be accessed, which is normally about 80 milliseconds. In this case, we are setting it to 0, which means it will cache all files regardless of how fast it is to access them. Awesome. Now that we are fully configured, let's go ahead and copy something from a remote network share so that we then have a need to cache it. To do that, I'm going to just type in copy //server DM1 /accounting to get to our accounting share. And I'll just say star.star. The lab says star.exe. Star.star should copy everything as well. And enter. We are now copying all of the information from the accounting share. If I type dir, we'll see a whole lot of exe files in here. That's awesome. Now we should be able to run get-bc status to view how the status has changed since before and after our copy. In this case, we can see our current active cache size is still 0. And this might be simply because of the fact that we just started and it's taking a few moments for it to check. There is another command, get-bc data cache, to view the cache itself, which we see is currently 0. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video, reboot, and then rerun that copy command to recopy the files, and then we will check the status again. So at this point, it has been several minutes. The stats don't update very frequently. So the cache size on disk will eventually update. However, it's been several minutes and has not yet updated. So keep going, wait for it to run, and it will eventually show that the cache active size is correct.